Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel where we dive into strange and mysterious tales. Today I'm sharing a chilling story about a childhood wish tied to a single painting, leading to a haunting journey that transforms a life. Let's get started. This tale takes us back to around 2010 in a small rural town in South Korea. Our protagonist, let's call her Sujin, was a middle schooler at the time. Her father's gambling and infidelity had shattered her family, leaving Sujin to live with her grandmother and mother in a simple countryside home. No air conditioning, just the basics. Sujin often felt overwhelmed by her circumstances. One ordinary day, while waiting at the bus stop on her way home, something unusual happened. A strikingly beautiful college-aged woman approached and asked, "I just moved here. Do you know where the big supermarket is?" Sujin gave rough directions, and out of curiosity, asked, "Do you live in that fancy apartment over there?" The woman smiled and replied, "Yes, I've been living there recently." Sujin muttered to herself, "Wow, I'm so jealous. How do you live in a place like that?" Then, boldly, she asked, "How can I live in a house like that?" Now viewers, when a kid asks a question like that, most adults would offer encouraging words, right? Something like, "You can live in a house like that too. Study hard, listen to your parents, and happiness will come in time. Your possibilities are endless." That's what you'd expect from a typical adult. But this woman's response was different. She leaned in and said, "Pray. Pray with all your heart. There are gods up there. God, Buddha, Jesus, whoever you choose. Or pray to yourself with true desperation. Don't give up on life and pray earnestly for what you want." Strange, wasn't it? This unique woman's words struck a chord with Sujin, a middle schooler in a small town. They felt believable. It wasn't a big city. It was a quiet, rural county where everyone knew each other. Sujin's friends were ordinary, some Buddhist, some Christian. But as she reflected on the woman's words during her bus ride home, she noticed something. The churches and temples near the bus stop or a bit further out weren't just modest. Some were grand and magnificent. Are churches this splendid? Are temples this big? Wow, she thought. The churches she'd imagined from the past were small, but Korean churches can be truly lavish and large. That was true even back then. Pondering this oddity on her bus ride home, the beautiful woman's words echoed in her mind. Maybe if I wish earnestly and pray, my wishes will come true someday. With that thought, she began writing in a notebook. For example, 1. Help me study hard. 2. Keep me healthy. 3. Make my dreams come true. 4. Let me live in a nice apartment, things like that. But who should she pray to? A god? Herself? Should she create her own faith? She wrestled with these questions. Having written down her goals, something came to mind. Being in the countryside, her home had a storage shed. While cleaning it with her grandmother, she'd seen an old picture frame, so she rushed to the shed and started searching. It was definitely around here. She found the painting and brought it out. It was covered in thick dust. Wiping it with a wet tissue, the image became clear. But between the frame, there was grime, and as she tried to clean it, a rolled-up yellow talisman fell out. "What's this?" she thought, tossing it into the trash without much thought. The painting depicted a frog, or perhaps a toad, sitting on a bed of forget-me-nots. You know forget-me-nots, right? A toad was perched atop them, rounded and serene. She brought it to her room and said, "Please grant my wishes. I don't ask for much." Looking at the painting, she hummed, "Toad, oh toad, take my old house and give me a new one," recalling a childhood nursery rhyme. It wasn't a big deal. She was just a young student after all. She adopted the toad as her personal symbol, a source of comfort. "I lived kindly today. Please give me a new house someday," she prayed. Her mom and grandmother noticed the toad painting and asked where it came from. "It was in the shed. I just brought it and hung it up," Sujin said. Her grandmother remarked, It looks familiar. But was this in our house? That's odd." Her mom brushed it off, saying, "You and your strange antics." No matter what anyone said, Sujin found solace in her ritual. As the woman had suggested, she imagined creating her own god. She prayed to the painting daily. Viewers, people get lonely, don't they? With family struggles, this painting became her anchor. Whether it was a placebo effect or not, Sujin started studying harder and her grades improved. Her determination grew. and having her own belief or lucky charm felt significant. Talking to the toad like a monologue became her hobby. Even at her young age, Sujin became noticeably brighter and happier because of this support. She felt herself progressing according to her plans. Even her mother, despite their tough family circumstances, worked diligently at a local kimchi factory. Whether due to hard work or newfound diligence, her mother was promoted to a managerial role in a short time. A promotion meant a slight salary increase, didn't it? Their modest income grew, bringing a bit more financial ease, and the family's mood gradually lightened. Each time something good happened, Sujin thanked her personal god, the toad in the painting. Thank you for today too," she'd say, framing it as a prayer. Before she knew it, she was a high schooler, then turned 20. She aced her college entrance exams and enrolled in a prestigious 4-year university in Daegu. At the same time, her grandmother's farm thrived, so money wasn't an issue. Sujin had studied well, as I mentioned, and earned a scholarship upon entering. But then, an unfortunate event occurred. What was it? Thanks to that toad painting, everything is falling into place. Is this my life now? I think I can achieve my ultimate goal of buying a new house, she thought, satisfied with her university life. She brought the painting to her dorm, continuing her nightly prayers. Thank you, Toad God, I'll keep working hard. Then something unsettling happened. Her dorm roommate, let's call her Hye-kyung, noticed Sujin murmuring to the painting. Sujin, why do you talk to that picture? Does it have deep meaning? Sujin, who had never shared the toad story, whether as her symbol or god, with anyone outside, opened up. She shared her difficult childhood, the mysterious woman at the bus stop, and how the painting became her talisman, her source of strength. Hye-kyung was moved to tears. You speak so beautifully, Sujin. Maybe you're my good luck charm too. The two grew close, bonding as roommates. Time passed, and Sujin still needed to earn money to support herself and be a dutiful daughter to her mom and grandmother. Fridays were free of classes. Only mornings had lectures, so afternoons onward were open. On Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, she'd return to her family home to see her grandmother and mother, helping with farm work and taking part-time shifts at her mom's kimchi factory. One day, after finishing her tasks, she had to return to the dorm for school. The weekend ended, and she went back to the dorm. Before sleeping, as always, she prepared to pray to the painting. But it was gone. Where's the toad painting? She searched her desk, Hye-kyung's side of the room. Nothing. What is this? Where did it go? She called Hye-kyung, but there was no answer. It was late. Maybe she wasn't picking up? For context, Sujin's school at the time had no curfew. The dorm wasn't a separate building, but a remodeled part of the main campus. Female and male dorms were separate, of course, but there were no strict rules, so students could come and go freely. The next day, expecting Hye-kyung to show up, Sujin waited, but she didn't come. Hye-kyung skipped classes and didn't answer calls, raising concerns that something was wrong. A week passed, and then a call came from Hye-kyung's phone, but it wasn't her. Hello? Sujin answered. Do you know Hye-kyung? Yes, she's my roommate. Who is this? ... Hye-kyung's in the hospital. Sujin's heart sank. The caller, a friend of Hye-kyung's from high school, explained, You know Hye-kyung has a boyfriend, right? Yes, I know. They've been dating since high school. Right, Sujin, I heard you go home on weekends. Well, it's awkward to say, but sometimes Hye-kyung would sneak her boyfriend into the dorm to stay over. Sujin had suspected as much, knowing Hye-kyung brought her boyfriend over when she was away. Hearing this, though, didn't sit well with her. Apparently, Hye-kyung had disguised him or covered him with a coat to sneak him into the women's dorm. Surprisingly, many female students did this. But one night while the couple was in the dorm, Hye-kyung's boyfriend, an art major specializing in East Asian art, saw Sujin's toad painting. Wow, this painting is captivating. The frame looks ancient, he said. Hye-kyung shared Sujin's story with him. Intrigued, he said, This isn't an ordinary painting. Hye-kyung, can I borrow it briefly to show my professor for an appraisal? Sure, but bring it back by Monday, Hye-kyung agreed. This was what Hye-kyung's high school friend was now relaying to Sujin over the phone, calling from the hospital during a visit. Hye-kyung's conscious now, but her boyfriend is on the brink of life and death. They were driving her boyfriend's father's car on a weekend trip when they had a major accident. I'm calling because Hye-kyung's in the hospital. If you have time, you should come. Her boyfriend's parents are furious, saying the painting caused this. They're at the hospital's funeral parlor. Sujin agreed, and after morning classes that week, visited the hospital. When she saw Hyekyung, she was in bad shape, covered in casts, her face pale from the accident. "Oh, Hyekyung, how did this happen? Are you okay?" Sujin asked. Tears streamed from Hyekyung's eyes. "I'm so sorry, Sujin. I shouldn't have touched your painting. It feels like this happened because I was careless. My boyfriend, he passed away last night." His mother was blaming Hyekyung, shouting, "You caused his death. Where did this painting come from? It's yours, isn't it? You killed him." She had taken the painting to the hospital's underground funeral parlor. Confused and shaken, Sujin went to retrieve it. At the funeral parlor, among the bereaved family, an elderly woman in black hanbok, leaning on a cane, approached Sujin. She seemed to sniff her, looking her up and down. "Are you the owner of this painting?" she asked. Before Sujin could respond, the woman snapped, "Why are you worshipping an object filled with vengeful spirits? Who do you think you are, acting like its master?" Sujin was stunned. "What are you talking about?" she thought, wondering if the grandmother had dementia. Then another woman, Hyekyung's boyfriend's mother, rushed at Sujin, swinging her fists and shouting, "You're the owner, you wretch! You killed my son! My youngest son is dead because of you." She repeated it over and over, venting her grief. Sujin couldn't understand what she'd done wrong. The friend who explained the situation and Hyekyung kept saying strange things, making her angry. "It's just a painting from our shed that I cleaned and used for comfort, to pray to. Why am I hearing this?" she fumed. "They were the ones who took it." Then someone brought the toad painting, carefully wrapped in layers of hanji paper. The grandmother asked, "Where did you get this?" Sujin answered honestly, "I live in the countryside. It was in our shed, forgotten. When I was young, I took it out and hung it up for support." The grandmother pressed, "Was there anything else with it?" Sujin recalled the rolled-up talisman she'd thrown away years ago. The grandmother asked, "Has anything strange happened to you? Odd dreams? Anyone harming you? Tell me honestly." "Never, not once in all these years," Sujin replied. "In fact, since I started relying on this painting, my wishes came true. My grades improved, my family's situation got better, my mom earned more money, and I even felt like my dream of moving to a new house was being granted." She shared her past. The grandmother muttered, "You've been blessed by a spirit, a toad spirit, but that's impossible." Sujin, frustrated, demanded, "I came for my painting. What are you talking about? Just tell me clearly." The grandmother replied, "Check your relatives quickly. If it was in your house, someone in your family must have placed it there. Find out as soon as possible. My grandson did something disrespectful to this painting and paid with his life. You could be next. The grudge in that painting could come for you. Take it now." She handed Sujin the painting, wrapped in hanji. Sujin pressed, "What do you mean by spirit?" The grandmother explained, "The woman crying below is my daughter-in-law. The deceased was our youngest grandson. Oh, the curiosity of that vengeful toad spirit latched onto him." She wept. "He took after his mother, and I made mistakes too. And now he's gone. My daughter-in-law is an expert in East Asian studies, my son a painting scholar." She continued, "I'm a shaman, yes. But how did my grandson recognize this painting? Oh, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva." She trailed off with cryptic words. Sujin was baffled, but took the family's contact information, determined to investigate at home. She asked her mom, who knew nothing about the painting. Her grandmother vaguely recalled it, but was unsure. Sujin called every relative, finally reaching her youngest uncle in Bali. When she explained, he shouted, "Why do you have that painting?" He demanded to speak to her grandmother, yelling, "I told you to burn it when the time came." Her grandmother admitted, "Oh, that was the painting. I forgot and left it in the shed. I thought it was gone and planned to tell you I burned it." Years had passed, and since it wasn't visible, she'd brushed off questions from her sons, saying it was gone. "Old people do that, don't they? It's bothersome to explain. What was it anyway?" The uncle fumed, "I'm going crazy because of you, Mom. That's why I have nightmares every summer. Even after all this time, why am I still dreaming?" He told Sujin, "Listen carefully. Did you see a talisman with that painting?" "Yes, I saw it." "You said you threw it away?" "Yes." "Buy salt immediately. Bury the painting underground with salt so no one can see or touch it. That wish notebook you wrote in. Burn it now." Sujin, overwhelmed by the eerie stories, followed his instructions. Her uncle explained why. As a child, he was a bit wayward, not bright, and jealous. Their village was a clan community. Among their clan, he had a distant cousin, Chulsu, who was brilliant. A year or two older, Chulsu would draw landscapes at the valley. Mountains, kids playing, forget-me-nots, flowers, toads, frogs, fish. The uncle and his friends teased him, saying, "Drawing again? Come swim." Chulsu wasn't athletic, so they helped by dragging him into deep water, making him swallow water as a prank. They thought it was harmless, but he ingested too much. They assumed he'd be fine in a day or two, but kind-hearted people like Chulsu don't show their pain to avoid worrying their parents. Too late, he fell ill at home. Water in his abdomen led to pneumonia, and even in midsummer, his body grew cold. He succumbed to the illness. Chulsu was known as the smartest in town. The uncle's group later learned his family had a lineage of male shamans, men who performed rituals, exorcisms, or divined fortunes, a role passed down through generations. They hadn't known his family valued male heirs so highly. Devastated, Chulsu's mother took her own life, followed by his father. The entire family was gone. The uncle continued. Chulsu's room was full of paintings, forget-me-nots, mountains, frogs, toads, and more. I used to catch frogs and toads for him to draw. After our prank led to tragedy in his family, I took one of his toad paintings home, tormented by guilt. Typically, items from a house where a family was wiped out are burned. A passing shaman or monk warned that the house was filled with evil, bad energy, a curse, or grudge. But who believes such superstitions fully? People move on, assuming new tenants will come. The uncle kept the painting in his room, not believing in ghosts. But as he grew older, the friends who had bullied Chulsu began dying. Traffic accidents, workplace incidents, illnesses, strokes. 3 or 4 out of 6 young men dying was no mere coincidence. The last friend on his deathbed said, "Remember Chulsu, the brother we made swallow water? I dreamed of him asking if I brought ice cream. He appeared in dreams multiple times." "You got one of Chulsu's paintings too, right?" the friend asked. The uncle confirmed, as did another friend. "Chulsu always two for us, didn't he?" Chills ran through them. "We all got paintings." That friend died during treatment. The uncle consulted a renowned Korean shaman who advised, "Leave the country, live in a land with many gods. If the dreams stop for 20 years, return to Korea." So the uncle went to Bali, known as the Island of Gods, and worked there with help from an acquaintance. Another friend went to Greece, another land of gods. The shaman had given him a talisman and instructed him to frame the paintings beautifully. After 10 years, have your family burn them. You're overseas, so ask someone to do it. Never keep them in your home. Living abroad was grueling, and in dreams, Chulsu appeared saying, "Hot. Want some ice cream?" Every summer, the uncle apologized in his dreams. The nightmares persisted, making him think he'd have to die to end them. 10 years passed, and though his mother said she burned the painting, the dreams continued. Chulsu's grudge is strong. "I can't return to Korea," he thought. Sujin's discovery of the painting shocked him. "I'm sorry, Sujin. I'll find a solution. Bury the painting in salt so no one touches it," he urged. 2 weeks later, he called, drunk and crying. "Sujin, big trouble. It's strange nothing happened to you. I looked into it, and it seems the toad spirit favors you. It's blessing you. The funeral parlor talk about a god? That boy must have disrespected it and was punished. He went to heaven. I'm sorry. The spirit might have chosen you. It's shamanic faith superstition. I don't know what to say. Like me, someone related must burn the painting after time passes. You have to wait 10 years. That's what Sujin learned from her uncle. As for what disrespectful act Haekyung's boyfriend committed, leading to his death in the car accident, it remained a mystery. Sujin tried contacting the shaman grandmother, but she was unreachable, having passed away shortly after the funeral due to old age. The boyfriend's mother was even more shocking. "Your painting took my son. Our family is cursed because of it. I'll never tell you anything. I'll always tell you anything." The uncle had no answers either. "You have to wait 10 years. I'm sorry." A trusted monk said that's the only way. The spirit's grudge needs long-term soothing before it can be sent away. It can't be detached. It must be released. Now in her late 20s, Sujin is doing well, but unmarried. The painting remains in her rural home, buried in salt, awaiting its day. That's the only way. It's sealed in a salt-filled bag in the shed. Sometimes she checks it, adding more salt if it melts. The final twist, Sujin dreamed of becoming like that beautiful college woman she met. Looking back, that encounter feels like a dream. Pray to live in a nice apartment, the woman had said. Now Sujin thinks she was dreaming then. She remembers the woman's dress, but not her face. It wasn't human. It's dawning on her now. Perhaps that dream of the woman was the toad spirit, urging Sujin to step into the world for its vengeance, yet also helping Sujin, who revered it. That's my thought. That's all for today's story. I hope it leaves a lingering echo in your hearts. Join me next time for another gripping tale. Subscribe and hit that like button. It means the world to me. Thank you.